This episode is brought to you by State Farm. From your morning podcast to your afternoon playlist, State Farm knows you personalize your entire day, and that's why State Farm helps you personalize your insurance with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. It offers coverage options that help protect what you care about most at an affordable price just for you. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hello, I'm Tom Wilkinson, and welcome to the Thinking in English podcast, a podcast for intermediate to advanced level English learners. Australia is banning children from all social media platforms. Under a newly passed law, no one under the age of 16 will be allowed to use Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, or any similar platform. Today, I want to take a deeper look at the reasons behind banning social media, as well as some criticisms and challenges. We'll end by thinking about the question, should social media be banned for children? You can find a full transcript of this episode on Spotify, on Apple, and over on my blog, thinkinginenglish.blog, links in the description. Here is today's vocabulary list. Ban. Ban. An official prohibition or restriction of something. As in, the government introduced a ban on smoking in public places. Comply. Comply. To act according to a rule, order, or request. As in, social media companies must comply with the new regulations or face penalties. Enforce. Enforce. To make sure laws or rules are followed by applying authority. For instance, the police are responsible for enforcing traffic laws. Age verification. Age verification. The process of confirming someone's age to ensure they meet age-related requirements. For example, the website requires age verification to confirm users are over 18 years old. Regulate. Regulate. To control or supervise something by implementing rules or laws. As in, governments often regulate industries to ensure safety and fairness for consumers. Addictive. Addictive. Causing a strong and harmful need to regularly have to do something. For example, social media platforms are designed to be addictive, keeping users engaged for long periods. Motivation. Motivation. The reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way. For example, her motivation for studying so hard was to secure a scholarship for university. The Australian government has passed a new law that will ban social media for anyone under the age of 16. The bill was introduced to the Australian Parliament last year and passed at the end of December. It demands that social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok prevent users under 16 from accessing their services. The law will now require these companies to comply with the law within a year, or they will be fined a lot of money. The Australian government has said that the social media companies will be responsible for enforcing the age ban. Most of these social media platforms already require members to be over a certain age before joining, but don't really enforce the policies. Instead, it has been the job of parents to decide whether or not a child can sign up to a service. Now, the companies themselves will need to introduce age verification systems. If they don't, they will be fined potentially millions of dollars. There will be certain exceptions made to the policy. For example, messaging apps and gaming platforms may not be included. Whether they are included or not, this Australian law is a major development in how countries regulate social media. Other countries could follow and learn from Australia's approach. Why is Australia banning social media for children? There are many different reasons. There is a growing amount of research and a widespread concern about the negative effects of social media on young people. As digital platforms have become part of daily life, the government and other groups have become increasingly focused on protecting children from the risks of online interactions. One of the key reasons for this ban is the rise in mental health issues among children and teenagers that have been linked to social media. A number of studies have demonstrated that time spent on social platforms can lead to increased feelings of anxiety, depression, and loneliness in young people. Social media encourages users to compare themselves to others, especially with people promoting their ideal lives on Instagram and TikTok. The addictive nature of social media platforms, which are designed to keep users engaged through scrolling and notifications, can lead to unhealthy levels of screen time. Beyond mental health concerns, protecting children's safety online is another major reason behind the ban. Social media platforms can expose children to various dangers, including cyberbullying, online predators, and harmful content. Additionally, social media platforms often collect and store vast amounts of personal data, which can be accessed or misused. While adults are old enough to consent to the use of their personal data, children are usually too young to do so. Another motivation behind the ban is the potential negative effect social media has on children's academic development. Spending too much time on social media can lead to poor academic performance, reduced attention spans, and difficulty concentrating on tasks. Social media platforms can expose children to harmful, inappropriate, or disturbing content, ranging from violence to explicit material. While social media companies try to limit or hide this content, they are never 100% successful. All of these reasons so far have been based on the health and safety of children. However, another reason for the Australian government introducing this law is that the public is demanding change. Parents, teachers, and health experts have all been asking for children to be protected from the negative effects of social media.
This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. We're driven by the search for better, but when it comes to hiring, the best way to search for a candidate isn't to search at all. Don't search, match with Indeed. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with candidates faster. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/SBO. Terms and conditions apply.
While the motivations behind Australia's social media ban are good, there are still challenges and criticisms. One of the most significant challenges behind banning an entire category of popular websites and apps across a whole country is the difficulty of enforcing the ban. Social media platforms are international and global companies, which presents challenges. For instance, many children, especially older children, are often good with technology and will find ways to still use social media. I remember that the internet at my high school banned gaming sites on the school laptops, but everyone knew how to get around the ban. Many children and teenagers are already skilled at using virtual private networks, VPNs, fake identities, or even borrowing adults' accounts to access social media platforms. While social media may be banned for Australian children, how about if they made an account using a different country's internet? Even if these companies create strong age verification systems, it will still be almost impossible to monitor every single child. There are also many criticisms of the ban. For example, banning social media platforms could limit children's rights to expression. Social media is a space for young people to express themselves freely. Social media can also serve as an educational tool, offering children access to valuable content such as tutorials, information on current events, and opportunities for cultural exchange. There are interest-based groups, forums about issues teenagers face, and much more. I even upload educational videos sometimes on my social media. The ban would effectively get rid of these platforms for children. Social media has also become a really important part of everyone's social lives. Social media is a place where people connect with people, make friends, and form relationships. Without social media, many children will be cut off from these friends and relationships formed online. An interesting criticism is that the ban will create economic and technological disadvantages. I work with social media every single day in my business, and I have friends who work as social media managers, marketing professionals, brand managers, and much more. They need to understand and know how to use social media to be successful in their jobs. Banning social media will be cutting off many children from learning the nuances of these platforms. Australia is not alone in attempting to regulate access to social media. Countries around the world are beginning to take more action to regulate social media platforms. One of the most ambitious efforts to regulate social media has come from the European Union, which introduced the Digital Services Act in late 2020. This law imposes stricter rules on large online platforms. They now need to have high levels of privacy, safety, and security for people under the age of 18 using their services. The DSA also places greater responsibility on companies to remove illegal content quickly. The UK has also introduced the Online Safety Act, which aims to make social media safer for all users, especially children. The idea was to make the UK the safest place in the world to be a child online. Australia, however, will go further than these two countries by completely restricting access to social media for children. One example of a major country doing something similar is China. Of course, China has always had strict internet policies, with many websites banned or not available. But in 2021, they introduced laws limiting the amount of time children can spend online. For example, one policy limited children under 18 to only 3 hours per week of online gaming, and further restricted the time they could spend on popular apps like Douyin, which is Chinese TikTok. Like in Australia, the Chinese government was motivated by children's education and health. Hopefully now you understand Australia's social media ban for children and the motivations behind it. But what do you think? Should children be banned from accessing social media? This is a controversial topic. We have to balance the benefits and harms of social media. Let's take a quick look at both sides of the debate. Let's start with reasons to ban social media for children. First, banning social media could protect children from potential mental health problems. Young people are influenced by the posts on social media and it has been shown this can lead to anxiety and self-esteem problems. Second, it could also reduce the risk of cyberbullying. There is less chance for children to be harassed or targeted online. Third, it would protect children from seeing inappropriate content. Fourth, it would prevent children from becoming addicted to social media. And finally, it might help children better focus on the real world and their education. On the other hand, many people are completely against banning children from social media. It could limit children's access to educational content, as social media can be a source of information and education. Social media provides children with opportunities to connect with friends and family members, so banning it would potentially damage these relationships. It could also limit children's digital literacy. The ability to use social media is really important in modern society, personally and often professionally too. But banning social media could prevent children from learning to use platforms. And it would be really difficult to enforce a full social media ban. Here is today's final thought. What do you think? Should social media be banned for children? I'm really interested in hearing all of your opinions. Many of you listening will have your own children and will be considering how to best manage social media in their lives. What is your perspective? Personally, I do think having some kind of age limits on social media is important, but I'm not sure I fully agree with a complete ban. I think social media is an incredibly important tool in the modern world, and it is vital people learn how to use it responsibly. Children should not be excluded from this. At the same time, young people's experience online should be safe and regulated. Well, let me know what you think. Should social media be banned for children? Leave a comment on Spotify, leave a comment on my website, or reach out to me on Patreon or Discord if you are a Patreon subscriber. Thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you next time. Goodbye.